Hey tankers, this is Zem from Shrike Gaming, and playing a little T25 Skoda today. This has become one of my favorite Tier 6 tanks. It's a Tier 6 autoloader with a 3-round magazine. Most of you guys are probably pretty familiar with it. This tank is as good as the Cromwell, I feel. The gun is excellent with the accuracy and the 3-shot burst damage. This is my 3 MOE game in this tank. This is was a really good. This is actually a really decent grind. I think I played like 3 more games to finish off the grind for the T34 100, the Tier 7, and I was very happy with this tank. It plays very similar to a Cromwell. It's not quite as mobile and as speedy, but the gun makes up for it. Like they said, that 3-round burst really nice. Uh, this is obviously Swamp, I guess was the old name for the map after they've changed it. Uh, Most of the time, mediums, especially starting on this side, pushing the 9-0 line is a real iffy prospect, just because of the way of the C7 area for the enemy tanks. You're going up the 0 line, and a lot of times you'll get shot. Sometimes just completely massacred going up that line. So actually, in a medium, I prefer to make it over here real quick and try to get some shots. In this situation, I kind of lost focus. I was busy looking at the Jackson, the T150, and I missed the KV85, which I should have been able to put in 3 shots going up that side hill right there. This typically the heavies, uh, the meta on this map, they push down to the castle down here, and they usually fight it out with the other heavies. But for some reason, we have a T150 and a Jackson playing this corner right here. This game when it first started out didn't look too hot. We're already down 5-1. This is a one of those games where you kind of wonder about the tanks, the, your fellow teammates. The obviously the north push is failing in a rather spectacular fashion, and we're actually getting kind of shoved in right here, even on the heavy side. But it is what it is. Like I said, with this 3-hour autoloader, you can clip out a lot of tanks, especially when they get right around the 300 hit point on the tank. It's also great for picking out tanks that when you get a nice idler shot, being able to track them and keeping in position. Now the enemy team has pushed around the end of the castle and has started pushing into our few heavy tanks. The T1, I gotta give credits to the T1. He played a really excellent game right here on the corner, and played it very well. I'm trying to give him a little support here as he does it. I also take a shot from the Jackson for playing back. Now the Jackson, instead of trying to play peekaboo with me here, should have stayed back until he vanished off my screen. But like I said, once with that 3-round autoloader, and it's very quick. I mean, there's no bloom in between shots really, so you're able to just pump shot after shot into tanks. And as you can see here, I'm waiting for him to turn his turret to finish him off. The new Swedish autoloader sitting off to behind me, and they're actually, for an autoloader, it's an alright tank, but it still seems to lack a little bit compared to what the Skoda can do, just because of the very quick reload in between clips. It lets you, like in that instance with that T150, putting in a bunch of rounds into him, backing off and reloading very quickly, and then finishing him off. Where the Swedish one is a little bit longer reload in between clips. And as you've seen, with just the 2 autoloaders, I can't say autoloaders are not OP. To a certain degree, they are, if they're played well. You obviously you got to make sure you're not sticking yourself out there to lose a bunch of hit points. There's people that say, well, you don't have to unload your clip every time you poke, or if you're shooting at another tank. And to a certain degree, you can say that, but that's the whole point of the burst damage. So if you can get in all three shots, and then you kind of have to make your decision of when you want to poke and when you don't want to poke, especially with a medium against heavies. But if you can unload your clip, that's what you need. You know, you wait till the heavy fires and then unload your clip. Simply coming out, shooting one shell, backing up, and then waiting however long to shoot another shell kind of defeats the point of having an autoloader. If you're not doing that full burst damage when you can, it's a little different with the Skoda because with 1.3 seconds in between each round, it's very easy to unload all three rounds. Like I said, that's something you learn is when you play the autoloader is you want to try to take that as you have to find those points where you can get a chance to unload all three rounds or 4 rounds or 5 rounds, whatever you have in your autoloader. Otherwise, you might as well just play a regular tank with a regular gun, because if you're not doing that clip damage, then like I said, you might as well just be playing any other tank. I mean, the point of the clip damage is to put a whole bunch of hurt on somebody and then back off, reload, and do it again. You know, so if you're just doing one single shot, and you can, but don't get me wrong, but you want to find those positions and find those opportunities that you can unload a clip on a tank. And like I said, after this, we've really evened this game up. I thought for a while there, when we were already down 5 tanks, that this was a good chance this was going to be a loss. But we've turned it around. This is actually what just happened to that artillery piece. Is still kind of a. If you're in artillery and when you have two mediums, there should be no reason why you should be pushing yourself to cap, especially when you have two tanks that haven't even been spotted yet. Now, I had a chance here where I could have probably taken a couple shots at the SU-100, but once again, not knowing where the artillery is at and not taking the chance of taking more damage than I already have, I've tried to pull myself back into a little better position where I can support this Swedish tank. And it was nice enough this SU-100 decided to give me a sight. I was trying to nail him in the track, just keep him from going around on him, but my RNG once again didn't work out so hot for me. And I could have probably kept going once again to try to push for that artillery piece, but I don't know where the other artillery piece is, and I'm not even sure where the other Sherman at until about this point when I realized that at least one of them is on cap. And like I said, with the mobility wise, it's not quite as mobile as the Cromwell, but it definitely can get up and move. So on this short of map, I'm not sure why the enemy tanks decided that it was a good idea to try to cap, especially when I'm not that far from cap. And as I crest this hill here, I try to start using the bushes and the little camo value I do have. I run coated optics on this tank. Plus with BI, my view range isn't real great, but it's not all that bad, especially at tier 6. So I know he's over here, and I have RD support. I'm also still looking for that Sherman, and as I pressed the hill, I was lucky enough to find him sitting right there in the water, and it was a matter of simply finishing him off and then getting moving before the next artillery shot decides to find me. Like I said, this was a relatively close game, and thank goodness we were able to pull it out of the fire of a good chance of a loss. But this is actually one of the point about these autoloader tanks. They can turn games around probably better than any other tank in the game, just because of that ability to burst damage. Now, if I had to sit there and actually take, a regular shot on that Sherman and then wait 6-7 seconds for a reload, I might not have finished him off so quickly, and I might have died to artillery or whatever. But with that burst damage, and this is the other thing too, is you learn with autoloaders, you want to make sure you try to keep that drum as full as possible. So at any given time when you're not shooting at something, you should be reloading. So, thank you for watching another video, and I hope to put them some more up.